So today I want to play a make-believe and pretend that I accidentally stumbled across $5,000 with a note attached to it that I have to use it to start a new business in the Philippines. If I had that money, what type of business would I start? So in this video, I want to answer that question and share my top 3 answers with you. Let's go. The first one is that I would create a digital course. Now, I've had this on my mind for a while, and I've started creating a couple of courses. What I plan on doing is creating a course about a couple of different things that I have knowledge about. And you could do the same thing. Think about what type of skill that you have that others may want to get. Maybe it's something about Microsoft Excel. Maybe it's how to play the guitar. Maybe it is about Italian cooking. Without a doubt, there's something that you have a passion for and that you have skills for that other people wish that they had. Create a course on that. Now let's break this down with the cost. So to start off with, your knowledge is free, right? So I would definitely create a course based on something that you already have knowledge of. Now, if you're going to create a digital course, you're going to need to film that. Now, these days, I would just start off using your phone, assuming that it could shoot in 4K. Most phones these days have excellent quality cameras. Of course, it's not like the Sony that I'm using to record this video, but no need to start off expensive. The more important thing is just to get started. Even if you don't have a tripod, just set your phone up in a way that it's going to be stable and that it frames you well. Make sure that you're in a quiet room where the sound is going to be great. And then I would take probably $1,000 to $2,000 and I would outsource that to the Philippines and I would have someone there edit the video. I would budget $1,000 to $2,000 to edit the whole course. And then I would look first at free ways to promote it. So free ways to promoting it might look like joining groups about your topic and mentioning the course on those groups. It might be starting a free newsletter about the topic, getting other people to join, and then out of those, mentioning the course in that free newsletter. Another great way where I would also budget some money is with Facebook ads. Now there's Google ads, lots of different ads, but I would think about using the Meta platform, and then you could promote it on both Facebook and Instagram, depending on what it is that you are selling. A platform like TikTok might also work, or if it's more business related, LinkedIn might work. The LinkedIn ads still tend to be pretty expensive. I would budget about $3,000 to pay for a digital marketer in the Philippines to get started and to make sure that you have some ad budget. The thing that I love about digital courses is once you invest the initial amount to get the course going, that's the bulk of your cost. That's the bulk of your work. Of course, there's more that you could add to it. You might want to do webinars. You might want to have online forums and different things where people could chat and talk about it and connect and really build a community. But you don't have to do those things to get started. The bulk of the work is right up front. And once you outlay the initial cost, it's all about just selling the course. And a lot of course makers have been very, very successful selling month over month, selling courses here. Actually, we had one client at Purple Cow Agency recently that had us hire a couple of salespeople to do nothing but sell their online digital course to the people that were interested in their product. And they were able to sell a lot to interested parties by selling, even using Filipino salespeople. Now, if you look at our budget, it would cost about $4,000 to $5,000 to fully set up your course and have some free and paid ways to market it and get it off the ground. Second business I would consider starting is a ghost kitchen. Now, what's a ghost kitchen? Is it a ghost kitchen because there's ghosts there or it's scary? Nah, it's just kind of a newer term. Sometimes people call it different things, but basically it means a restaurant that doesn't have a physical space. So a ghost kitchen mostly uses a commercial kitchen where you're going to prepare food and then you're going to sell it somewhere else. Now, you're probably saying, are you kidding me? Starting a restaurant that's super risky? Well, you're right. It is a super risky business, but we're talking $5,000 here, so we're not gambling away a fortune. And we're doing it, I think, in a really strategic way by opening it up first as a ghost kitchen, which will really prove out the concept and be something that could scale into a physical space in the future if you want. So what does this look like practically? First thing is that you would hire a great chef here in the Philippines. So the cost for a chef here actually really isn't that high. Probably about $500 to $600 a month for a great chef over here. And then you would need to purchase some equipment. Don't go crazy. Just get what you need. I would budget probably $500 to $1,500 for different types of cooking equipment that you might need. And then you're realistically going to need a month, probably 2 months, just to do some R&D. So what does R&D look like? It means cooking and eating and giving food away to other people to taste and to get feedback until you really come up with a menu that people are going to love. Now listen, the menu doesn't have to be some huge menu. The menu might look like French fries. There's even chains here like Potato Corner that just simply sell a few varieties of French fries. You want your sour cream, your barbecue, your cheese, your plain, and they are wildly successful. And about everywhere you go, you're going to see this one restaurant because they're selling something that has a high demand that people really enjoy. But if you come up with some type of food, you just really make it something that people would love. There's so much possibility to sell something, even if it's just one thing that you do with excellence. Now, you might really be passionate about a particular type of food. For example, living here in Davao City, I really miss a great Greek restaurant in Cebu City. There's just not a lot of that around here. It's a place that used to be packed and do really well in Cebu City. So they kind of stood out from the crowd. Something like that in a place like Davao City, where I am now, would probably do pretty well because it would be the only one out there. So it really depends on your taste, what you could do with excellence, and what there's enough of a market that people would be in there paying for it regularly. Now remember, with a cloud kitchen, you're saving on having to rent out a space and buying, commercial refrigerators and ovens and so many other things. You're keeping it ideally very simple. So I would go more on the Potato Corner route with just having one thing or just a few things you do with excellence rather than a full Greek restaurant. However, I think the important thing is that you find something that people are interested in buying. So you are asking, how am I going to sell this if I don't have a physical space for it? Well, here in the Philippines, I would use Grab or Foodpanda, which are really popular places that people order. They're just basically online apps where people order food from. I'm sure in your own country, if you don't have Grab or Foodpanda, you have Postmates or a lot of other equivalents out there in the world today. The great thing about this approach is you really aren't spending that much upfront, especially compared to what you would use to start a restaurant in a commercial space. And you could really test out, do people love your food? If they do, they're going to buy it. If they don't, they're not. And the good thing is it's far better to test out a food concept through a cloud kitchen on apps like Grab or Foodpanda than it would be to build out a whole concept and then find out people really don't love it. So again, to recap with this idea, get a great chef, do some R&D, see what you love, what your chef loves, and then give food away for free and see what people really respond to. And then and only then launch something on Grab and Foodpanda, see how people respond. Down the track, you might decide to reinvest some of the profit into a commercial space. So what does our full budget for this look like? Your budget range is about $2,700 to $4,400 for this. And you're going to have a fully vetted and tested ghost kitchen business. Last but not least, a third option that I would look at is starting a web development company. Now you might say, I don't know anything about web development. Well, I got to be honest. When I started my company, Purple Cow, in 2008, I knew this much about web development, but I started it originally not as Purple Cow Agency, but as Purple Cow Websites, and that's all we did. Now, I taught myself how to build websites, and I kind of sucked. But it was enough to be able to build small websites until not that long after I outsourced to a guy in Vietnam who was a much better web developer than I was, and that would really be what I would recommend to you here. Hire a web developer here in the Philippines. That's going to cost you probably $600 to $800 a month. Just hire somebody that's working as a contractor or hire somebody through a company like mine, Purple Cow Agency over here, where you're going to be paying an hourly rate for somebody full time, and make sure that there's somebody that is really good at website development. Your cost for that, if you hire a contractor, it's going to be about $600 to $800 a month. Or if you go through a company like ours, it's going to be about $12 an hour. And then what I would do is just go to a website like Upwork.com, look for people that are asking for web developers, then go to ChatGPT, put in their proposal, and ask ChatGPT to give you a great response in terms of writing them back a proposal, and just be sending out proposals all day, every day. It's going to be a little bit slow at first, just till you get some reviews and people saying that they really love your work. But this is a really low-cost way to be able to start a web development company. Down the track, yes, you might want to get an office or you might want to hire people full-time as employees. But the way that I mention it is a really inexpensive way to get started. So if you hire a contractor for this, again, your budget's going to be about $600 to $800 a month. If you hire somebody out of an office where there's a project manager and HR and everybody overseeing them out of an office like ours, for a regular month, it's going to cost about $2,100. And again, to promote things on somewhere like Upwork, where you're responding to proposals for people that are interested in what you have to offer, I would budget a couple $100s a month, making this at most about a $2,300, $2,400 a month business to get started. And like me, I think that you would likely have your first client in about 2 to 3 weeks of putting out proposals. And then you would find that things would just continue to scale from there. So these are a few of my ideas for what I would do if I magically had $5,000 to start a new business in the Philippines. I'd love to get your feedback. Let me know if you have any questions. And I would love to get your thoughts. If you had $5,000 to start a business in the Philippines, what would you do? As always, guys, thanks for taking the time to watch. Take care.